For years, Maria lived a simple, quiet life. She wasn't famous, she didn't have much money, and she certainly didn't think of herself as special. She was just a delivery woman, a face that came and went with the rhythm of the city, carrying packages from door to door. Every morning, she tied her worn-out shoes, tucked her brown cap over her hair, and started her route. Rain or shine, she worked tirelessly, earning just enough to pay her rent and feed her cat, Luna. But one morning, everything changed. It began like any other day. The sky was gray, and the streets were slick from last night's rain. Maria scanned the barcodes on her handheld device, sorting the boxes in the back of her van. But one package caught her attention. It was small, wrapped in elegant white paper with a gold ribbon tied perfectly around it. Unlike the usual packages covered in tape and barcodes, this one had only a handwritten note, delivered to Mr. Elias, 14, Willow Street. Urgent. Handle with care. Something about it felt different. Maybe it was the handwriting, neat yet trembling, or maybe it was how the box seemed to radiate a strange kind of importance. But Maria shrugged it off. After all, it wasn't her job to question what she delivered, only to make sure it arrived safely. When she reached 14, Willow Street, she found an old, ivy-covered house that looked like it had been forgotten by time. The gate creaked when she pushed it open, and the air smelled faintly of damp wood and roses. She knocked on the door once, twice, but no answer came. She was about to leave when she heard a faint sound, almost like a whisper, coming from inside. "Please, come in." Maria hesitated, her heart racing. Her job strictly forbade her from entering a customer's home. But something about that voice, frail and trembling, pulled her in. She pushed the door open gently and stepped inside. There, in the middle of a dimly lit room, sat an old man in a wheelchair. His eyes were kind but tired, and his hands trembled slightly as he motioned her closer. "You brought it," he said softly, his gaze fixed on the package. "I wasn't sure it would make it in time." Maria handed it to him carefully. "It said urgent," she replied. "I wanted to make sure it got here safely." The man smiled weakly. "You have no idea how important this is." With trembling fingers, he untied the golden ribbon and lifted the lid. Inside was an old, faded photograph, a picture of a young couple standing under a cherry blossom tree. The man in the photo looked just like him, but younger, full of life. Beside him was a woman with bright eyes and a joyful smile. "She was my wife," he whispered. "That photo was all I had left of her. I lost it years ago when we moved. I thought it was gone forever." His eyes filled with tears. "But today, you brought her back to me." Maria stood in silence, the weight of the moment sinking in. It wasn't just a package, it was a piece of someone's heart, a memory that had been lost and found again. "I didn't deliver a box," she thought. "I delivered hope." The old man looked up at her and said something she would never forget. "Sometimes, the smallest deliveries carry the greatest meaning. Thank you for bringing me a piece of my past." Before she left, he reached into his pocket and handed her a folded note. "Open it when you get home," he said with a gentle smile. That evening, after finishing her route, Maria sat on her small kitchen table, Luna curled up beside her, and opened the note. Inside was a simple message. "To the one who carries others' burdens without complaint, may life one day deliver back to you the kindness you give so freely." Attached to the note was a small key. Confused, Maria turned it over and saw a small address written on the back. The next morning, curiosity got the better of her, and she decided to go there. When she arrived, she found a small cottage surrounded by wildflowers, with a sign that read, "For sale." But when she handed the key to the real estate agent, he checked his papers and looked at her in surprise. "Are you Maria Torres?" he asked. She nodded. He smiled. "This property was gifted to you. The previous owner, Mr. Elias, said it belonged to the woman who returned something precious to him." Maria froze. Tears welled up in her eyes as she realized what had happened. The old man had left her something far greater than money or possessions. He had given her a home, a place to rest after years of endless roads and long days. As she stood in the garden, the wind rustling the flowers around her, Maria felt something she hadn't felt in years: peace. Sometimes life changes in ways we can never predict. One moment you're just doing your job, living your routine, thinking nothing special will ever happen. And then one small act, one simple delivery, opens a door you never knew existed. From that day on, Maria still made deliveries, but she carried something new with her, a sense of purpose. Every package, every knock on a stranger's door, reminded her that behind every address was a story, and sometimes, those stories could change a life. And though she never saw Mr. Elias again, she kept the photo of his wife on her wall, right above her bed, as a reminder that kindness, no matter how small, always finds its way home. Because sometimes, the biggest changes in life come from the smallest packages.